I said a boom, 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 and let me hear you say Monday analysis. I said a boom, 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 and let me hear you say Monday analysis. I'll stop doing that. Hey everyone, how's it going? It's the Flying Pig here on this Monday analysis episode today, where we're breaking down the Premier League, the action over the weekend, Manchester United, all that sort of stuff, the calamity that is Manchester United at the moment, and our calamitous Mr. Beanio manager that we've got in charge at the moment as well. We're going to go deep into that. Of course, it was an absolute shambles of a weekend for us, wasn't it? Drew with Southampton away at St Mary's, a terrible result. And it's pissed me off so much ever since, because there's been so much freaking stick coming my way. It really is an absolute gutter. We couldn't go on and get the result in the end. I mean, we didn't deserve to. We were absolutely shite. Jose Mourinho setting us up defensively poorly, and we got exposed early on. We were 2-0 behind before we even knew it. So it was a terrible start to the game. We managed to claw it to 2-2. Actually showed 2-2. Actually showed a little bit of bottle, like a Manchester United side should, in that period where we got the 2 goals. But then after that, the lads completely melted. And it's like, oh, we've got the draw now, where St Mary's will just stop. It sort of seemed like that. It's like, hang on, you can bloody play for those 10 minutes, can't you? But you can't do it consistently. That's been the story of our season. We're just shit at the moment. I'm sorry. The main reason for that, of course, there's lots of reasons for it. We've gone over that time and time again on this show. The main reason for it is our Portuguese Mr. Beanio manager. Because it's his tactics, it's his dinosaur philosophy that is causing United to play this negative football. It's not playing to the strengths of the players we've got in there. You can see that all over the place. There's piss poor performers all over the place. And you can sort of say, maybe it's not actually the fact that they're shit. It's the fact that we've got a shit system employed by what is probably now a bit of a shit manager. So it's kind of, it's a difficult situation, because some of these players out there don't deserve to be playing for Manchester United right now. But Jose Mourinho selecting them in his system. He's the one who's chosen them in order to play. So it's all well and good you coming out after the game and criticising Paul Pogba for being shit, which is what he was. But at the same time, it's you that's not getting the best out of him. It's funny how you put him in a France jersey, he turns into, an absolute beast. You put him in a Manchester United jersey and he crumbles. You put him in a Juventus jersey, he was one of the best players in the world. Is there a logical explanation behind this? Well, maybe it could just be that the man that we call Jose is just using him completely incorrectly, and Pogba feels shackled. He doesn't feel comfortable in that position, in that role, whatever he's asked to do. And maybe that's the reason we're seeing players a la Paul Pogba not performing and playing like shite out there. But then again, hang on a second, I think a 5-year-old knows not to dilly-dally and dawdle on a ball when you've got a defender coming in at you. Do you know what I mean? He gives the ball away so much. It's like one of these things, like, you're just shit at the moment, Paul Pogba. I'm sorry. Mourinho said about Paul Pogba afterwards or something. This is apparently something that's been leaked out of the dressing room, that Paul Pogba is a virus at Manchester United. That's some pretty strong words if that was truly said by Jose Mourinho. He said that Paul Pogba is a virus in the dressing room with his gash-tastic football. I can see that out there. He is a virus. He's like, small. He's like smallpox. Do you know what I mean? He's not smallpox. He's smallpox. And what basically that virus means is that your balls shrivel up to an absolutely tiny size and you cannot compete on a football pitch. That's basically what it is. So Jose Mourinho is a bit concerned because some of the other players in the team have caught smallpox and they are not feeling too well out there. They're not performing very well at all. So, I can see where he's coming from there. I really can. He says Paul Pogba's a virus. There's a lot of tension behind that. If that's true anyway, allegedly, that's what's been said. If that is true, then there's so much vitriol behind the scenes that we don't even know about. Do you know what I mean? I mean, we've seen a lot on the training ground. We've seen a lot in the press. They've said things here and there about each other. Subtle things, some not so subtle things. And we know the relationship between them is indeed strained. Whose fault is it? Who's to blame? Who is to blame here in this situation? I mean, it's really... I would actually like to see the back of the both of them. I'm going to be totally honest with you now. I don't think either of them are the right fit for Manchester United. I think if Paul Pogba was a good enough player to represent Manchester United and wear that red shirt, then he wouldn't be performing like he did in the game against Southampton, regardless of who the manager is, regardless of his teammates. I'm talking about individual performance here, mate. You're at United. This is supposed to be supposed to be the highest level. This is supposed to be one of the biggest clubs in the world where you, as one of the best players in the world, could shine and show your consistent talents. But he doesn't do that. He doesn't. He's not able to do that. He's not capable of doing that. So there's only so much that the manager can do. I just wanted to start this video off with a little Pogba Jose run anyway, just to kick all things off. Thanks so much for stopping by on this channel. There's a bunch of you in here already. If you are in here, do us a favour, smash a like on this video while you're in here and get your thoughts and opinions in about the state of Manchester United. If you're an opposition fan, you can have your say. It doesn't bother me. Let me know what you guys think about it. Please do get involved in the comments section. We've got a super chat here from Gungshi. Gungshi, what is the time over there in China, mate? Do you know what I mean? What time is it over there? Why are you up? But thank you so much for stopping by and getting involved with your super chat there, man. Absolute legend. Thanks so much. Jose getting sacked is the Christmas miracle we need. Out with Portuguese Mr. Bean, the Silver Goblin. That's what Gungshi says. Thanks so much for your comment, Gungshi. I think he'll be gone by Christmas. I entitled this video, Why is Jose Still United Manager? Because I can't really see it. We've seen it the weekend after the result Southampton had against Manchester United. You know, the 2-2 draw, which any other season, at any other time, any other Manchester United side would have been a really good result for Mark Hughes and Southampton, wouldn't it? Even though they're at home. But right now, it's like, hey, you just lost to those shithouses United. You're sacked. So that's the state of the club at the moment. But he was sacked. Okay, not doing a great job. I don't think they've won at St. Mary's once all season. You know, you can see why he was sacked. I feel sorry for him because he is the most consistently sacked manager there is, I'm pretty sure. It's like Mark Hughes has got a job. You hear he's got the job. Next thing you know, he's sacked. That's basically what happens with Sparky. But he's a little bit of an unfortunate manager, I think. He always goes into clubs in difficult situations. That's not always true, of course. I mean, he did manage City and drew about 11 games in a row. Back in the good old days when they spent money and were shite. I actually didn't mind City as much back then, do you know what I mean? But now they spend money, but they've got one of the best managers. They've got some of the best talents in the world. They're a great team, and, you know, long are those days over. But, yeah, I mean, the point I was making is Mark Hughes got sacked at Southampton. Now, how can Jose Mourinho, after having, you know, 2 full seasons of this season so far, having a war chest of a couple hundred million or a few hundred million or however many hundreds of millions it was, but it was certainly hundreds of millions that he has spent on players coming in, how can he have all that time, all that money at a club like Manchester United, which obviously has much higher expectations than a club like Southampton, have a shit start to the season, have general squad disharmony, and just look like a Portuguese Mr. Bean, and you still keep your job? I don't really get that because he's totally underperformed. Look where we are in the league now. It's not just his fault. I'll reiterate that. It's not just his fault. But it is a lot of his fault. He's the one who's getting the players playing the way they are. He doesn't understand the ethics behind the club, I don't think. You know, he's not been the traditional United-style manager. People warned me when I was saying, let's get Jose in, because of the history of the man, that he's not the right fit for Manchester United. And those people, those clever people, were absolutely right. Because although he had a decent first season, he's just not been able to match the philosophy of the club. He doesn't get the club. He doesn't understand maybe we need to bring more youth through. We play in a certain type of way, especially at home. Fair enough, going away against tough teams, you've got to keep things tight sometimes. But at home against shitty teams like Crystal Palace and these types of teams, we've got to go for it. We've got to entertain the fans, give them something to look forward to every weekend. And he doesn't really get that philosophy. He's just a man who likes to... He's set in his ways, you know, he likes to do the same thing every single week, basically, which is just defend, be negative, slow it down. It's dreary as fuck, lads, it really is. It's so annoying, and he's still here. He's still actually the Manchester United manager right now, as I'm making this video at least, unless somebody can please correct me, which I'll be ecstatic about. He is still the Manchester United manager, and that's worrying, because look at the state he's got the club in now. We're right down. I mean, we are in a fight to qualify for Europe this season. You know, we don't want to be in the Europa League, but we certainly do want to be in the Champions League. We're in a real fight just to get 6th place at the moment. You know, we're not even a top 6 side right now in performance in the table, whichever way you want to look at it. And a lot of that is down to the man that we've got in charge, because yeah, he might not have got the defender that he needed in the window, but you've got freaking shitloads of players there still, Jose, that are a good standard. You've still got players, you know, Sir Alex had players like freaking Smalling and Jones knocking about the gaff. Were we half as shit as we are now? No. We weren't. You know why? Because he was actually a good manager. He actually had some cojones. He actually was prepared to try and entertain and give the fans what they want. He wasn't just prepared to just have a stinker and try and snatch a result. That Southampton performance, I just don't get. You're fighting for the win. You need a win. Why do we start off so slowly? Why do we start off so negatively and just don't go for it? And are so weak at the back. I mean, it's Jose Mourinho's tactics gone wrong. That's what's going on at the moment at the club. It's a complete calamity. We need to sort our lives out big time, lads. I think if we get a new approach, a new man in, then yeah, that would probably be the catalyst to kick us on and take us in the right direction. It's not going to happen this season. We're not going to win the Premier League this season. We're not going to probably win anything this season. Jose's got us into the last 16. Nice one, Jose. Good one. But that is not enough, is it? It's not enough. Champions League last 16, that is not enough of an achievement for Jose this season, especially if we don't qualify for the Champions League next year or or anything like that. So I think his time at the club is over. We need to get rid of him now. I don't understand why Woodward and these complete losers are not making the decision and swinging the axe right now, because he's had plenty of time. You know, I'm not one for changing managers all the time, because I don't want United to be that type of club. I want us to give people opportunities, you know, unless they have an absolute shitter. Like a Moisey, you know, Moisey was driving this club into the ground. It's a terrible time to take over the club after Sir Alex. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. But, you know, he did have a horrible time, but probably not quite as horrible, or at least the same level as Jose is having this season at United. This is just as bad. He did well when he first came in, improved us in the league last year. That was basically it, you know, but we'll take that last year as a transitional building season, if you like. But this season, the third season with Jose coming in, with the money spent, was supposed to be the season that everything just clicked. Everything gelled. He's got the players now. He's had time to assemble the squad that he wants. And he's instilled his beliefs, his system, his tactical genius. I put that in bunny quotes there, as you can see, because I don't know if he is a tactical genius these days, although history would say that he is. You know, he's just having a complete double day, man. That's basically what's happening with Jose. Let me know your thoughts on it. Let me know your opinions. I'm desperate to hear what you guys think about the situation right now. Are there any people out there who still would like to give Jose a bit more time just to see, you know, because I think there's a good argument to say, well, if we did bring in a new manager right now, would that actually have the positive effect? Because it's mid-season, the January transfer window is not even open. It's a difficult, tumultuous time to come in as a new Manchester United manager. So I think that definitely plays a factor. But most people, myself included, think that the club would benefit from a fresh approach, fresh ideas, somebody who maybe does match the philosophy of the club with the style of play, with the giving fans what they want a bit more, because he's not that type of manager. You know, he'll do it his way or the highway. That's basically Jose. And fair play to him. He's been very, very successful over the years, wherever he's gone. Even if it's ended in tears, he's had a certain level of success at pretty much everywhere, you know, everywhere that he's been. So his record, his managerial ability is not in question throughout his career. It's just at United, because I don't think that he's the right fit for the club. You cannot play the way we are and not win games, and you also can't play the way we are and not be prepared to entertain and attack at home and just play better football. That's basically what it comes down to. The football that we are seeing Manchester United play week in, week out, it's just absolute dog turd shite. It really just reminds me a lot of the Louis van Gaal days, you know. That was dreary football. In fact, Louis van Gaal's team was probably better than this Jose Mourinho side. But in terms of slowing it down, in terms of, you know, a lack of authority in the side, leadership, a lack of bottle up front as well, a lack of, you know, being able to put the ball in the back of the net, and defensively, it just smacks of that season that we had, or that time that we had under Louis van Gaal. It was a calamity. So he was sacked after winning the FA Cup, okay, which is a bigger achievement than what Jose has done this season so far. I know it's obviously not the end of the season, but he at least did win something, and he was sacked. Mark Hughes got a draw against Man United, had a tough time at a team like Southampton. He's been sacked already. Yet Jose is still hanging around the place, stinking it up, living in that hotel. I mean, the guy's a complete joker, isn't he? I think he's just lost it now. Does he even really care? The reason I say that is because if you had have lost a game or drew a game in Crystal Palace at home, would you set a team up like that? Would you be playing bloody Frankenstein's monster Matic at the back there and just experimenting in a must-win game? I don't think you really would. It's a very strange set of circumstances that we've got here, because we've got a man who's so defiant to change and maybe match what the fans want, that he is basically going to cost himself the job because he's so rigid in his beliefs that he's not prepared to change. The guy's a complete melter. Everybody who's tuning in now, thanks for stopping by. I'm actually pretty tired this evening, had a long day, but I thought it's Monday. Monday analysis has to come back. I may not be, in the best of spirits with United the way they are. I may be really tired. I'll keep it reasonably short tonight, but I just definitely wanted to get involved, stop by, and let you know my thoughts and opinions once the dust has settled on the weekend's football. Mainly Manchester United being a complete turd at the moment. But also, I'll just talk briefly about some of the other results that happened in the Premier League. Of course, there was two big games yesterday, derby games, real big derby day Sunday it was yesterday. You had Everton versus Liverpool, which actually finished in a 96th minute winner by Origi, with Jurgen Klopp running onto the pitch and celebrating like a complete tool bag. Jurgen, mate, fair play to him. I do admire the passion, but it's not the dumb thing, really, is it, Jurgen? But there you go. He is from Germany, so yeah, they won. Big win for them. Very disappointed, very gutted that the Scousers managed to get the win in that game. I was just absolutely hoping that they would drop a couple of points there. I really was. At least a couple of points there. Very nearly happened. And then that Origi prat of all people, the shittest player in the world, popped up and got one in the back of the net in the 96th minute, man. Oh! It angers me, that sort of stuff. It really does anger me. It's not just about United. This shit really gets to me. So basically the fact that Liverpool managed to get a last-minute winner. We can get a bloody last-minute winner. They did it in the derby against Everton. Oh, man. And Klopp celebrated. Imagine if that was the other way around and we just done City 3-2 in the derby. And then Jose runs on the pitch. It'd be epic, but we're not getting moments like that now. Because the Portuguese Mr. Bean Goblin is stinking the place up with his dreary football. That's basically what it is. But big win for Liverpool, of course. They march on. They keep their title hopes alive. They keep their title hopes alive. But honestly, they do actually have a chance. I do think City are just too strong. They're just as consistent. They're better. So I just think City will win it this season again because they're so strong. The way they go about it, it's consistently good. Liverpool, you still believe at some stage, even though this season they've been really consistent, you still believe at some stage they've got a shitter in them and they're going to slip up and they are going to drop some points at some point. That's my personal belief. This is Liverpool we're talking about, All you've got to do is throw a couple of banana skins on the pitch so they play a slip on them a la Stevie Gerrard and then they've dropped the points. So, yeah, that was a huge result. Let's get on to the other result yesterday, which was Arsenal versus Tottenham, which if Alex Rudd's in the house, I'm sure he'd be absolutely buzzing about because Arsenal beat Spurs, didn't they, in the North London derby? It's been a while, I think, but they beat them. And they beat them well. 4-2 result in the end there. Chaotic scenes. Arsenal, man. New manager, new approach. That's what I'm talking about. You see, Wenger is stagnant. Great manager. No doubt in his history. No doubt in the ability he once had as a manager. But certain times come in a manager's career, maybe like a footballer, when it's time to hang up your boots, mate, or hang up your tie or whatever it is that you're wearing, your suit jacket. Hang up your suit jacket, Wenger, because you're just slightly living in a stone age in terms of your mentality, football approach, whatever it is. And I think his football approach was actually really good, like the style of football that Arsenal played. I'd take that every day of the week over this monstrosity that we've got now. I'm talking about every Arsene Wenger side, not just the the great invincible side or the late 90s sides. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about them all. Even if they weren't the most effective at winning games and they were defensively ropey at the back, they always did play nice football. Or at least they tried to play nice football. They got ripped apart a lot, but they also played nice football in the process, in an attacking sense. That's what I'm talking about. So I think a new approach has done Arsenal wonders. They've kicked on, Pochettino and Spurs have done a fantastic job over the years. The players that they've got, I didn't really see that result coming, but it did come. And I think Arsenal are in with a shout this season, not of challenging, but definitely in with a good shout of finishing in the top four. And I didn't think that was possible at the start of the season. I did not think that was possible because a new manager coming in, it takes time to get your belief system, your philosophy, all that stuff into the team and get the necessary players in, etc., that you want to do your thing. And he's done it in quite a short space of time. You can't argue with the impact that he's had at the club. So I think that's exactly the approach that Manchester United need to take now. It would have been nice maybe if it was the end of the season and we could just get somebody in fresh with a window and and have time to pre-season and time to make the squad gel and get used to his system and all that sort of stuff. It would have been nice to do that. But I think the second best thing that we could do is to get rid of Jose before Christmas time. I mean, I'd get rid of him now, personally, just give whoever's coming in a bit more time. How much worse could it get? Where United were going to St Mary's and drawing in a complete calamitous style. We're drawing at home against Crystal Palace at Old Trafford. We've been terrible this season. It can't get much worse, man. I mean, if we did have a new man come in right now, it couldn't get much worse, could it? Give it somebody to the end of the season, Give it somebody just to have a go. Because what's happening right now at the club with Jose in charge, it's not the Manchester United way. It doesn't fit United. He's a great manager, but it's not the right fit for United. So I think we're just flogging a dead horse here by keeping him at the club when we could give somebody else a chance to do it. You know how I feel. I'd give it to somebody like Eddie Howe, but whether or not he'd want the job because he's, local Bournemouth lad, as I say, he's happy managing that club. Who knows what would happen to Bournemouth if he left? There's lots of factors that he would consider. So I'm not even sure if he's the right man, but, is it Dan Giggsy? I don't know. Somebody else. Basically anybody else other than that Portuguese Mr. Bean, Jose Mourinho, that we've got in charge right now, because we all know what his football is. We all know what we're going to see. Week in, week out, when we tune in or you attend the games at Old Trafford. You're at Old Trafford, a United game. Surely, you should be expecting something positive from the side, whoever you're playing. But no, it doesn't work like that these days. We're just expecting negative football. We're expecting crappy football. We're expecting underachieving performers who don't look comfortable in their roles. And I've had enough of him, so yeah, I think he should definitely do one. Ricky Singh comments and says Sparky got sacked because Southampton board even knew Man U are gash. Oh my days, what's going on here? It's true though. Manchester United at the moment, it's not like I said earlier on, a couple of seasons ago, a few seasons ago, anybody goes to Southampton and finishes 2-2. I would say that Southampton would consider that a good result. Because Manchester United were always a formidable side, always one of the top 4 sides, top 2 sides, top side in bloody England. But now it's like, oh, you couldn't beat United at home, you're sacked. It's crazy, mate. But yeah, I sort of see what you're saying there. Sharath Bilgiri comments and says, watching United gives me depression. Do you know what? You bring up a very good point here, mate, about mental illness and stuff. And I'm not even joking here, but there is something in me to do with Manchester United which is definitely depressive. Do you know what I mean? Like, I definitely am feeling pretty low about Manchester United right now because people are just hurling abuse at you. And we're walking down the street, your mates are taking the piss out of you because their team, City or wherever the twat it is, are doing great and we're doing shit. And we're tuning in, working all week, looking forward to the game at the weekend. United are going to play some good football. We're quality, aren't we, United? Even if we don't get the win, we're going to be entertained. It's going to be a cracking game of football because that's what United's all about, going for it. But with Jose at the moment, it's not about that at all. It's just about smelling up the place. That's what it's about. It's about trying to win ugly and just doing a bad job at even doing that. So it's very frustrating. It's very depressing as a United fan right now. As you say, you're feeling depressed about it. I feel depressed about it as well. It's actually depressing how bad Manchester United are right now. I mean, we have been spoiled over the years. I guess it's sort of like if you're a smackhead and you're getting some real good quality smack for 20 years. You're getting great smack, Class A smack. You're loving the smack. You're floating off to Never Neverland every single evening. All of a sudden, that smack data is gone. He's inside or something. He's been sent to prison. You can't get that quality smack anymore. And just to clarify, never done smack. I don't want to do smack. I'm just using this as an analogy, right? So it's like a smackhead getting some great smack, and then all of a sudden, after years and years of having this quality smack, they're told that you just basically have to have this poor second-rate smack now, mate. Do you know what I mean? Doesn't even touch the sides. It's not good quality smack. And that's basically what we've got right now with Jose Mourinho at United, He's not doing a good job. He's not fulfilling us fans. We're not getting that euphoria, this sense of, just entertainment that we used to get as a Manchester United fan. We're not getting it at the moment. We're just getting like the complete smacked out withdrawal and all that stuff that's not going good. And we're just feeling bad. And what's that over there? It's a Portuguese Mr. Bean. This must not be reality. But it is. But it is reality. We do have Jose in charge. We do have him playing awful bloody football. And it's so frustrating, it really is. Don't Thanks so much to everybody who's tuning in right now. I'm going to go through more of your comments right now. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on anything I've covered in this video. Maybe not the smack analogy, although get involved. Let me know your opinions, your experiences. Brian Sheridan comments and says, I'm your biggest fan, Pig, and I'm an Arsenal fan. Haha. Thank you so much for that, Brian. That, look, brings a tear to my eye, Brian. No, thanks very much for that, especially from Aguna. Really appreciate that. Very nice of you. Thank you so much for stopping by and getting involved there, mate. I'd like to say the same thing about you, Brian, but I have no idea who you are. Although I like your name, Brian Sheridan. It sounds quite interesting. It sounds like a footballer who might have played for Nottingham Forest in the 1970s or something. AS7 Alexis comments and says, 400 million, I believe you're referring to the amount that Jose has spent, or at least Manchester United have spent under Jose's tutelage there. It's a significant amount. So even if it's not that figure exactly, it's a lot of money that he's spent. It's a lot of time that he's had to get this United team playing the way he wants. You know, come on, you can't make excuses for him anymore. I wanted him to be a success at United. I really did, and I thought he would be a success because he's been a successful manager wherever he's gone. You know, he lost the dressing room at Chelsea on the second time around, but I just put it down to them being a complete group of prima donna wankers. That's my personal opinion. You know, led by that Eden Hazard monastery worker. What's going on there? I should talk. By the way, this monstrosity is on the go. It's like a hangover from Movember, if you like, but I need to sort it out. I know, I look like a state right now. But yeah, led by Eden Hazard, bunch of prima donnas. Soon as he left, they started playing football again. That's what it seemed like to me. Well, the same sort of thing has happened at this club, and I'm not so sure if it's the lack of effort from the players at Manchester United so much, because a lot of the players do seem to be trying very hard. I just think that the system that Jose employs, the selections that he makes, the substitutions that he makes even, are just very questionable. I don't see why he'd bring Martial. Right, check this out. He didn't start Martial, who's in really good form in the last game. Don't know why, because he did feature in the game later coming on. So what, are you afraid that he was not maybe 100% fit, but because we were in such a dire situation, you chanced it, which makes you a twat for risking Martial's fitness, which is not the case in my opinion. The case is he just wanted to try Rashford, and Rashford was effective and got a couple of assists. So what does Jose do? He then takes Rashford off, who is the man who is actually making something happen out there for us, and that basically killed us in my opinion. I know he put Martial on and that could have helped, but you know, I just don't agree with his selections, his opinions. He's having a complete calamity. Gungshi, we've had 3 crappy managers in a row. Ginger Goblin, Dutch Goblin, and not special anymore, Silver Goblin. Yeah, we've got the whole colours of the rainbow here pretty much, and they've all been useless. Moisey, I mean, after it all, you know, he was probably the one that didn't have the fairest crack of the whip. And what I mean by that is he had a complete double day there. He really did. But what was he in the job for? 8 months, 9 months, something like that. He didn't have as much time as Louis. He didn't have as much time as Jose to work his wonders. Doesn't help that you're only signing in the first window as Marouane. But he didn't have the time that those managers had. So it's almost harsh to compare him to Louis and compare him to Jose. Now, Louis van Gaal came in. It was a slight improvement. I think he got his Champions League qualification, and it was a slight improvement, but it was still dreary football. It was still, you know, the blind leading the blind out there. And that's no pun on Daily Blind we signed at that time either. I just mean it's a blind leading the blind in the sense that Van Gaal didn't really know what to do with this club. Van Gaal didn't know to get the best out of it. And the players certainly didn't look comfortable in the roles that they had under Louis, apart from maybe Chris Smalling, who was actually pretty good. Let's give him some credit back then in the Louis van Gaal days. But, yeah, most people... He's shit now, by the way. But then we had Jose come in, and Jose Mourinho, he did well to begin with, like I said. But as time's gone on, if you look at the way he's been this season, it's worse than any of those situations. I certainly think that Louis van Gaal was way more likeable. The old, you know, clip will fall on the floor trick that he did that time. That was awesome. Louis van Gaal, you know, he's more entertaining. I like my players horny and all this stuff. He was more entertaining in a lot of ways, because it's like, who is this the Goonie sloth Dutch character we've got in here managing the club? If only he could have actually got us playing the type of football that Manchester United deserved, then maybe we would have he would have actually been able to continue, because he did win us the FA Cup, then we sacked him. See you later on, mate. It worked out well in the end, I think, because Jose came in and won us a Mickey Mouse treble. But yeah, I mean, we've had 3 bad managers on the trot now. Surely we've got to break that. We've got to break that cycle now. The next one can't be as bad as that, can it? It can't be as bad as the last 3 picks. Moisey was a complete ginger goblin. Louis van Gaal was a complete stroopwafel-loving Dutch goblin. And Jose Mourinho is the most Portuguese Mr. Bean impersonator looking silver goblin that there is. So we've got a whole set of goblins. I'd like to see, a proper gargoyle come in now or something, or somebody who could take it a different direction. Like have like an Eddie Howe or just somebody else. So give it gigs at the end of the season, that sort of thing. That's what I want to see. Just a bit of change at the club now because we need it. Dilly comments and says 3 defensive managers. Yeah, I mean, you make a good point there. You've got to put it to the board, really. Woodward and the people making the decisions upstairs, the owners, absolutely all those guys who are in charge, who make the key decisions at the club to appoint a manager. Because really, I don't think that David Moyes was a good choice. I wasn't happy about David Moyes being the manager of United at the time. I didn't think he had a big enough profile as a manager. I didn't think he had a big enough track record of winning things as a manager to take on the responsibility of managing a club like Manchester United. So I think he was and he was a reasonably defensive manager, probably the least defensive out of all 3 of them though. And Louis van Gaal was defensive. His slow, sidey, passy, crabby football was absolutely dreadful to watch. It really was. It was more consistently bad than Jose's, which is shit, because we almost, we'll probably make more stuff happen occasionally under Jose, some nice performances, good results here and there. Whereas Louis van Gaal, what I do remember, it was just the dark ages. It was like pure crab football, horrible stuff. Sean O'Riordan in the house comments with a cheeky little super chat, mate. Thank you so much for stopping by on the channel. No message to go with it, but I'll give you a shout out, Sean. Thanks so much for stopping by here and doing that, mate. Speedy Boo Lukes comments and says, who's next, Piggy? Well, in my opinion, it's got to be somebody who is forward-thinking, who's progressive, who plays attractive football, good defensively also, and has maybe shown that they can manage in the league, shown that they can maybe overachieve rather than underachieve. I think there's a clear candidate, which everybody's been talking about, which is the Bournemouth manager, Eddie Howe. I'm from Dorset. Don't know if everybody knows that. I'm from Dorset. My parents are from up Manchester way. They're big United fans. That's why I'm a big United fan. And he's a local lad. He's from not far away. He's played for the local club, Bournemouth, if you like. And in his career, he's managed Bournemouth. He's brought them up from the very foot of the footballing league up to where they are now, which is a very established, good football playing Premier League side. He's done a tremendous job. He really has. I mean, you don't show that sort of managerial ability for nothing. You've got to have it. It's got to be there. You saw similar things happen with Brian Clough back in the day. Considered one of the best managers, maybe not in terms of the amount of trophies, but in terms of achievements like taking clubs up from being a provincial town to being a really top club, just from my making signings and your managerial ability. And we saw Brian Clough do that a couple of times. Nottingham Forest winning the bloody European Cup 2 years in a row. Stuff like that's pretty insane stuff when you think about it. And it's just as insane to manage a club and get them up from the bottom of the Football League right up to where they are now, which is near the top of the Premier League, challenging for European places and playing nice football at the moment. They played City the other day and they lost 3-1. But you know what? I watched the highlights of that game and maybe just the highlights didn't really do it justice. But what I thought about it was that Bournemouth played some really nice stuff. They challenged City. They were very, very good. And they just got beaten by that little extra bit of class, which you would expect from a side like City who spent shitloads of cash and have a great manager, I have to say, with great style and ethics and all that stuff that they display out there. But Bournemouth put up a bloody good fight considering half their team's a bunch of championship players. That's basically what it is. And, he's kept a core of those players that they've come up and it's worked wonders for them. I would give it to him just because I think he's proven in the Premier League is good. He's proven he's tactically very good with the way that Bournemouth approach games, the way that they win games that maybe they shouldn't win, and the man management that he's got as well. You always hear the players absolutely praising him at Bournemouth because he's a likeable manager. He's not a controversial manager. He's a professional manager. He really is. You hear his post-match interviews, his post-match presses, whatever you want to say. He's not like a Jose where he causes controversy. He's not a ruffian or he's not trying to mix things up. He's not trying to play mind games. And you can say that's a positive in some ways, but he is probably one of the best fits that we could get for Manchester United right now because I think he is professional. I think he is positive. I think he's an attack-minded manager. And who knows, if you gave a manager like that a serious amount of money. The squad that Manchester United have, because Bournemouth are probably, they are playing better stuff than us right now with much worse players on paper. They are. If you give the players that we've got at Manchester United to somebody like that, it's not going to happen overnight. But with time, I think he could really get this club playing tremendous football and going in the right direction. Now, the big question, as I mentioned or alluded to earlier, is that would he even want to leave Bournemouth? Because he loves that club. He's not going to want to just cut and hang them dry. I mean, I know he did go to Burnley back in the day, but this is a little bit of a different situation. He went back to Bournemouth after Burnley, and he did well at Burnley and set them on the right track as well. But I think, leaving them right now, it would cause a lot of problems for Bournemouth. It would, ask a lot of questions about who's going to come in and be able to steer the ship and keep them in the Premier League. Because without Eddie Howe, they should have come up to the Premier League and they should have gone straight back down, or if not that season, the next season. But they consistently managed to stay up. So I think without him, they could struggle. And I don't necessarily know if he wants to do that to the club. Yeah, he'll make a lot of money at Manchester United. It's a huge challenge, one that I'm sure anybody who likes football would just dream about taking that job, dream about being the manager of Manchester United. It's a far cry from being the manager of Bournemouth, and that's no disrespect to Bournemouth, because they're a better team than us right now. I think they are a footballing team, and considering they are half championship players, that just what a sad indictment that is for Manchester United under Jose right now. I just think if we had him come in, maybe, just maybe, you could be looking at the next Sir Alex Ferguson, because he can't really get on and go anywhere further with Bournemouth, in my opinion. Yeah, he could keep in the Europa League, but they can't compete really to the same level as some of the more commercially successful and bigger clubs in the league. It's miraculous that they're in there with a 12,000-seater stadium right now anyway. It really is. So I just think maybe him. I mean, I'm absolutely just loving Eddie Howe at the moment, aren't I? I'm just completely rubbing him off on this channel right now, and I apologise for that, to just praise an opposition team manager so much. But I admire him. I think he's a good manager. I think he could get this team to where we should be with a lot of hard work, and I think that's what he's prepared to do. Whereas other people like Zidane, I know he was a tremendous player, but it's a different animal coming in and managing a Premier League side who used to be the Real Madrid of the league and are now, really struggling, really difficult. It's a lot of pressure to come in and handle that right now. Especially if your only managerial experience is being gifted a team which is the best sort of set of Galacticos there is. I'm talking the Bales and Ronaldos and the Modders and people like that, which were populating his Real Madrid team while he was the manager. Plus, it's the side that he finished his career at. He knows the guy. It's a different scenario just to get him to come in. So he would be a good shout. Yeah, I'm sure he would be a good shout. I don't see how it could be worse than Jose right now. And there's another manager that a lot of people are talking about as well. Who is it that I've just completely forgotten? But there is somebody else who's in the frame maybe. There's a couple of people, people talk about Poch and stuff. Don't think it's going to happen. He's at Spurs right now. They're just a bit of a better side than us right now, as much as it pains me to say that. And they're not a bigger club. We're a much bigger club history-wise, but he's settled. He's comfortable there. It's not going to happen, I don't think. Levy would never allow that. James Arnold in the house with a super chat. How's it going, James? Thanks so much for stopping by on this Monday evening. Hope you're having a good one, man. He says Jose is a neurastic little man. Now, that's an interesting word there, mate. I don't actually know what that means. Neurastic. What does that mean? Are you trying to say narcissistic and you just got a little bit of some sort of spell check issue or, dodgy finger on the go there? But yeah, whatever it means, I agree with you. I don't know what it means, but whatever it means, I agree with you. We've got 160 legends in here right now, tuning in live to this Monday Analysis episode, and a couple of scousers that we're not going to mention, but thanks for stopping by nonetheless. Thanks for taking a break from putting people's cars up on bricks and taking their tyres off. Appreciate it, but thanks so much for stopping by on the channel here. Everybody who's involved right now, there's no good reason not to smash a like on this video right now. You're in here, you're watching it, there's a thumb button there, just do it! Unless you're not logged into your account in this, in which case I understand, in which case log in. And if you're new here, new to the channel, what we do on this show every single Monday, after weekend football, we break down the football that's happened. We break down Manchester United in a bit more detail, some of the other clubs, some of the other footballing news that's going around. And we break that down for you guys on this show. I say we, I just mean me. That's what I do. You can actually get this show. I keep saying this, I keep forgetting to put it on there. But you can watch this show. Sorry, you can't watch it. That'd be pretty impressive. But you can listen to it on your podcast app, whichever one you use. You can listen to it on iTunes, on SoundCloud, Facebook.com/Mr. Flying Pig HD, or is it Flying Pig United? I need to get my shit together, but you can find the links down below probably. So please go and do that as well. Subscribe to it over there. Do what you do. You can listen to it afterwards if you're in future. If you just rather listen to it while you're on the toilet and not actually look at me whilst you're pushing one out, then maybe you could just listen to it on your podcast. That's all I'm saying. I'll stick it on there afterwards. What the hell? Dave132 kid comments and says, need to get him out now so a new manager has time to work with the players. I agree with you, mate. You know, why flog a dead horse anymore? It's not going to work out for you, Jose. See you later on, Jose. No one gives a shit about you, mate. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your work. Thanks for your effort. I'll give you a D+, mate. I'll give you a D+ for winning the Mickey Mouse Treble your first season in charge. After that, you've been a complete calamity. So see you later on. I agree with you. I think if a new man came in now, it just allows him a little bit more time to try and change things and get things in the right direction at United. And it can't be much worse, can it? How much worse can it actually get? You know, let's not tempt fate there. We don't want to find out how much worse it could get. Let's be honest now. Big D comments, oh, it can get a lot worse. So he thinks that this situation at the moment, you know, we could definitely do worse. Ben T comments and says, gashtastic year so far. It really has been. You know, Ben, I must say that this is one of probably the season that has me the most disheartened as a United fan in my whole lifetime as a United fan. And I'll explain why. Because, yeah, the Moisey days were bad, but I sort of expected a period of struggle for Manchester United after a legend like Sir Alex Lee, who's so successful and spoiled us for 26 years, so many years, or how many years it was. He was just a tremendous manager of which we will never see the like again. But I sort of expected there to be a bad period for United, and I was sort of prepared for that bad period to happen to David Moyes, and he'd be sort of like the scapegoat that comes in, takes all the negativity, takes all the ass because you're a shit manager, when actually it's just the fact that we've had a legend leave and it's such a huge transition for the football club. So yeah, and I just think it was a different scenario to how it is now, where Jose's had time, he's had signings, he's had much longer time to work with. I think this right now is probably the worst that I felt, because we should be doing better than we are right now. We finished second last season behind a tremendous City side. Liverpool were amazing, ripping teams apart. They beat City multiple times last year. They were incredible last year, but we still finished above them. So that filled me with hope. It filled me with belief that this season we can maybe go on and perhaps push City for the title and do well in the Champions League. Why wouldn't we? Because we're going to bring a couple more players in, which we did. Dallo and Fred. I know they're not the players you maybe would like or that Jose would like. But we did bring players in, and I was expecting us to kick on. But we haven't done that. We've just nosedived. We've fallen right back. We haven't just taken a couple of steps back either. We're way off. Way off to where we were even last year. And last year we were poor. Last year we were defensively shy. Last year we didn't entertain. But we still managed to scrape more results. And defensively, actually, we were much better than we are this year, even though we've still weren't up to the standard, really. But this year it just hurts so much because we should be doing a lot better. That's all I mean by it. Ben comments and says Pogba was terrible at the weekend. He was absolutely gashtastic, I must say. I mean, there's only so much you can say for the player. Yeah, he's great for France. Yeah, he's great for bloody, Juventus or whoever he played for. But you're shit for us, Paul, and that's what all that counts. You can't give the ball away the amount of times you give the ball away. I'm not surprised Jose Mourinho called you a virus, you bloody smallpox infester. Do you know what I mean? That's not the right word. You're a contaminant, Paul. You are. You're contaminating everybody in the dressing room. They're all getting smallpox, which is this virus disease that you've given everybody, and their balls are starting to shrivel up, and now they're starting to forget how to play football. That's basically what's happening. So I'm not surprised Jose's pissed off with Pogba, and vice versa, because both are having an absolute mare. And in my opinion, they should both leave because they're not United material. That's my own opinion. You guys probably have a different opinion. Let me know. Do you think it's just the case that Pogba doesn't have the right man? He clashes with Jose. He doesn't like his system. He feels shackled by it. He's not in his role that he wants to play in. Is that the case? Tell me if you think it is. But I don't think so. I just think he's actually useless. Kane versus Predator comments and says, get rid of Pogba and Lukaku. The two of them are running the show and bringing the other players down. I'd agree. You got these prima donnas on shitloads of money who just seem like, oh, we've got the biggest bumper contract of our career that we're ever likely to get. So let's just stop bloody bothering out there. Let's just try harder on social media and on our bloody hairdos that we do out there on the pitch. They're a disgrace to the club. They really are. You know, and it's not just them, but there's certain players at the club that I just want to see a lot more from. Alexis Sanchez, mate. Come on, you were class at Arsenal. You're shite here, though. Why? You're supposed to be this incredible talent. Get on the ball and do something. Forget the rest of the team. Forget, you know, these are the types of players we've got, you know. We've got these supposed match winners. Lukaku was a goal scorer machine for Everton. We thought that's the player we were getting. He maybe started off pretty well for us, but he didn't continue that. The consistency's gone from his game. The confidence has gone from his game. I'm pretty sure Jose's tactics and his system and the team and everything's not helping him. But at the end of the day, he's still underachieving. He's still underperforming. He still needs to do one. Now, I don't think we're going to sell Lukaku because he's on a lot of money. We've only just got him. But if somebody wanted to come in with a reasonable offer, and it would have to be a reasonable offer, because I'm not just saying that he's never going to be good again. I just think he's in such a low period. Terrible form. Not happy with the service he's getting. Not happy with the manager. Whatever way you want to look at it. He's just not happy. I would perhaps consider an offer from somebody for him, as I definitely would for Paul Pogba. If somebody would offer a half a loaf of Hovis right now, I'd snatch your hand off for Paul Pogba. Just get him out. So I think he's that much of a negative influence on the club. But Jose, you're the one selecting this prick week in, week out. If it's true, and the way that you subtly criticise your players in the post-match pressers and stuff like that, but if it's actually true that you called him a virus in front of his teammates and said his negative football is infecting the rest of the players and all this shit, you called him out and you humiliated him and you said shit like that, then you're the twat's fault who it is. Do you know what I mean? Because you are the man selecting him week in, week out. You are the man who selects him regardless of performances, regardless of form. It doesn't matter what he does. He's on 300k a week. He has to play. Is that how it works? I don't understand why he is playing. Because he's poor. He's poor for us. He's inconsistent. He lets the side down too often. I'm sorry, he does. But Jose's the man selecting him, so it falls down on you, Jose. Same with Matic. Matic has been terrible for so long. He's the most rigid Frankenstein's monster I've ever seen play for United. He was good. He has been good at times for United. But right now, his form is terrible. And you've got to select teams based on form. Surely, history would show us that when you do that, it has, a much more positive effect than if you just allow players to stagnate in there and not score and not convert, not perform. Because what does that say? What message does that send to the rest of the team, to the players who are trying to break into the side, to the players who are prepared to battle and fight and really perform for United and give it a go and prove themselves? What does it say to them? It says, well, it doesn't matter what you do in Trent. It doesn't matter what you do out there because you're not going to get the opportunities. I'm just going to select that twat with the stripy hairdo, Paul Pogba, no matter what. And then I'm going to criticise him when he plays shite, even though I know he's shit. So, Jose, I'm sorry, mate. No. You can't blame any of the players anymore. You can't blame Pogba. You can't blame Lukaku. You can't blame these players because you're selecting them, mate. Give someone else an opportunity. Leave Martial on the bench. Stick Frankenstein Jr. Lukaku up there. Why? Oh, my days. Right, rant over. I've got a little bit het up and a little bit emotional there, but talking about it, these doing these videos are not good for me, man. I just spat everywhere as well. Sorry about that. Doing these videos are not good for me because they do. I bet that if you put one of these heart rate monitors on me or check my blood pressure during this, it would spike. It would absolutely spike. Ricky Singh comments and says, Modric Ballon d'Or winner. Yeah, the Ballon d'Or ceremony was on tonight. I'll just make sure that that's absolutely true, Ricky Singh, that you're not just leading us down the garden path here. But I was keeping one slight eye on it. Oh, and you're absolutely right. Thank you very much for the fresh correspondence there, Ricky. Modric ends Messi and Ronaldo's dominance of Ballon d'Or. Wow, how many years is it that they've won it? 9, 10 years in a row? It's been split between either Messi or Ronaldo. Unbelievable achievement, unbelievable period of time that's happened. So for Modric to get it, I actually agree with that. I think he's been tremendous over the last 12 months for both club and country. Of course, you can't say that his performances for Croatia in the World Cup were anything less than heroic. He was absolutely fantastic for them, and on the biggest stage, they got to the final. Huge run for a nation like Croatia, and then solid as ever for Madrid. So probably, I think that's a fair one. I like that that's happened. I like that it's not just gone to Messi or Ronaldo because that's that's where the votes go because they like them. I'm glad that it's gone to Modric now and that period has ended because I think that should have happened based on the seasons that they've had, in my personal opinion anyway. Just like in 2010 when it went to Messi, and it should have blatantly gone to either Wesley Sneijder or Iniesta, but it went to Messi. It was like, that didn't make any sense, really, for that 12-month period. So I think this is good. Got a little bit of a frog in my throat here, guys. Crikey, we've done 50 minutes already, lads and lasses. 50 minutes, that's absolutely mental. I can't believe I've been speaking for 50 minutes here. The time just absolutely flies by. Holy crapola, Gungshi, what are you doing, mate? Have you just won the lotto? Just sent in another super chat, man. Thank you so much for your support on the channel as ever, man. You're an absolute hero of mine on here. He says in comments, I just want a positive manager to come in and get our players motivated again so they may start to play like they used to. I couldn't agree more with you, Gungshi. It's time that somebody came in to try and replicate that Manchester United of old. Because that's the Manchester United way. The players changed. Yeah, we had this consistent manager in there who was always this incredible force, this tour de force at Manchester United who always got the best out of whatever team was there. But personnel changes. You've got to move with the times. You've got to change in football. And we are not prepared to do that at the moment by sticking with him. If we did give the opportunity to somebody else, then I think you would see a positive change at Manchester United. I think it's just a no-brainer. It might take a bit of time. Yeah, there's a possibility that it could get worse, I suppose, or that somebody could come in and just do the same, and it'd be very difficult. It'd be another Liverpool before Klopp, where all managers came in, tried and failed, and never quite lived up to it. So that could happen, but I think the only way we're really going to find out is if we make the decision. I don't see sticking with Jose as being anything other than a suicide mission at the moment, than a pure kamikaze move. Why would you do that? Why would you stick with him? You know the type of football we're getting. You know how poor we're playing out there, how bad we are at Old Trafford, how controversial things are behind the scene. The owners, the board, they all know that. So why stick with the man when you can give the opportunity to somebody else, somebody progressive, somebody who could take the club on? That's my personal opinion on it anyway. Thank you so much for your super chat as ever, Gungshi. Bunch of comments coming in today, guys. Thanks so much for getting involved. You're seriously a bunch of legends. The amount of people that are actually commenting on this video right now with their thoughts and opinions. I just want to say it again. I say it every bit, but if I don't read out your comments, it's not because I don't love you, because I do. I do love you. It's because there's just a lot of comments coming in here, and I can't read absolutely everybody's. I just can't. So, yeah, but you're a bunch of legends. Thanks so much for stopping by. Beatbox Dre Beats comments, it's not Jose's fault. Blame the players. I mean, yeah, I blame the players too, because the players are shithouses and they are having an absolute calamitous mare. But at the end of the day, he's the man selecting these players to have calamitous mares. Pogba's played shit 10 games in a row. What's that? Jose, let's play him another game. Lukaku couldn't hit a barn door, hasn't scored in 10. Let's play him another game. Do you know what I mean? Matic, Frankenstein's monster, looks more at home on a set of a horror movie. Let's play next game. Don't understand the logic behind it, mate. So I think, yeah, the players are shit. Some of the players are shit. But Jose also is the man selecting these shite players. You can't criticise the players if you keep selecting them after shit performances. It's not like they played great and then had one bad game. Fair enough, though. They played shit for consistently loads of games and then had another shit game. Well, you're the mug that chose them, aren't you, Jose? You know? That's my personal thoughts on it. One thing I want to talk about before I wrap this up, because I'm going to wrap this up reasonably soon. We'll try and make it to about an hour, as I like to keep these videos to that. And I'm pretty tired today, lads. Big full day for me today, long day. Tired. Had to come on here to share my thoughts on the calamity situation that is Mourinho at United right now, and just everything else that I've talked about in this video. But yeah, one thing I want to talk about is the boxing at the weekend. Bit off topic. We're on to boxing now. But I haven't actually caught up with the full fight, but I've obviously seen what's happened, seen the highlights, round highlights, all that sort of thing. But I do want to sit down and actually watch the full fight in its extent. But Tyson Fury did something absolutely amazing, in my opinion, which has come back from being a 400-pound blob to being, should have been, the heavyweight champion of the world again, beating Deontay Wilder. In my opinion, it was called a technical draw in the end, but he was robbed. One judge had it completely the opposite way. Deontay 115 to 111 or something on the scorecards. Everybody knew that was incorrect. I mean, like I said, I haven't seen the whole fight, but I've seen enough accounts of the fight to know that that is just a complete disgrace. And I don't know if you saw the last round where he gets up like the Undertaker after being put down and basically knocked out, like he is unconscious there. He looks unconscious. Surely he's not playing unconscious. It was a fucking punch that would take down a camel, and he's just laying unconscious. Then, boom, he just gets straight back up into it. Probably wins the rest of the round. So I just want to say fair play to Tyson Fury, man, because he's come back from a lot. He's very likable. I'm sure me and a lot of you guys have been on a bit of a roller coaster with this man over the years, because, you know, at first you think there's a bit of a loudmouth, you know, dirty man. That's what you sort of maybe think to begin with. But it couldn't be further from the truth. He's actually, you know, quite intelligent in his own way. He's very sensitive in his own way. You know, he's very likable. And he's also kind of a hero, because to come back from what he has been at, which is potential suicide, being very, very overweight for somebody like that who's an athlete, and in a very short period of time was champion of the world after beating Vladimir Klitschko. To come back and put in the performance he did against Deontay Wilder just goes to show what heart he has. And I just thought that was amazing, but it's an absolute sham that he didn't actually get the decision. That's boxing in America for you. That is why people don't want to go and box in America anymore, because maybe the money might still be over there for super big fights like this. But there's so much controversy over there. The judging in boxing is so corrupt, it's so bullshit, and basically was robbed over there. I hope he gets the rematch, but I bet you, Deontay Wilder wants none of that right now. You know, I'm sure he said he's probably interested in the rematch. Bullshit, mate. There's no way you want the opportunity to fight Tyson again, because you know he beat you and he could do it again. Especially after being out for such a long time, especially for, you know, the fact that he's basically 12 months ago was a complete blob. He's trained himself into oblivion and got back into shape and come into this boxing match, you know, and a couple of little shitty warmers up here and there, which basically mean nothing to a fight like that, and be able to perform like that. I think he'll only be better next time around if they were to do it in 6 months or a year or whatever. But he will want to go and fight Anthony Joshua. Deontay Wilder will take this opportunity now, because he knows at the moment he's got the draw with Tyson. If he fights Tyson again and potentially loses, that opportunity at fighting, having that huge unification fight with Anthony Joshua, falls by the wayside, because that will then go on to Tyson Fury. That's what I believe. I think he will take the Joshua fight first now before Tyson Fury ever comes back in the situation, but I hope not. So I think Fury deserves the opportunity. He was completely robbed, man. He was absolutely robbed. Any of you guys think, give you your thoughts and opinions on what you thought about it? Comment here from Franklin Copperland comments, I love Fury. He's what boxing has been needing. Couldn't agree more, man. Heavyweight boxing just a few years ago was so bleeding boring, man. It really was, and it was just substandard. You know, after the Lennox Lewis era, you know, the whole Vladimir Klitschko era, yes, he was a great technician. He'll go down as one of the greatest heavyweights of all time, really. But his technical style, you know, the jab, hold, that sort of stuff, wasn't the most entertaining, and it was basically him just dominating the division for years. There wasn't these great matchups, these great fights, which is actually dominated by Britain at the moment. Britain's dominating the heavyweight game, you know, the boxing game in general, in my opinion. They're dominating. And we've got huge, incredible matchups that you can make. You know, even now after this Fury-Wilder fight, the Fury-Wilder rematch is only a bigger fight. Fury versus Joshua would probably be the biggest fight. Wilder versus Joshua is an absolutely huge fight. You've got Dillian Whyte, Chisora, these guys knocking about the gaff who could fight one of the losers or something, you know. So it's an incredible situation that heavyweight boxing's in right now. And I think Fury is one of the main reasons for that, because he's so entertaining, he's so hard on your sleeve, and you can't not like him. You know, you might not like what maybe he stands for, or some of the things he's said in the past, you know, some of the maybe homophobic things or whatever he said in the past, but you have to admire the man's heart, his ability to come back for a bit of adversity, and just his skill as a boxer as well. Because yeah, he doesn't look like the most conventional. He's very awkward, very difficult to box against, I imagine. And he's so big and rangy, but he moves very quick. He's got very good movement, very good feet. So I just love a bit of Tyson Fury. I really, really do. And I just wanted to talk about it and say he was robbed. Cara Perio comments and said he was robbed as well. Dilly comments, Wilder looked confused. Yeah, man, I mean, he looked confused when Fury got up in that 12th round after taking that super punch, man, because that was a big, heavy punch that he landed there. That would put down a camel, as I said. But he got up from it, and it was crazy the way he did it, because he was basically out cold, but he still managed to get back into it. Right, lads and lasses, I love you guys. Thanks so much for getting involved with the stream tonight. WJ Davies, shout out to you. Comments says, how tall are you? I'm 6'2", my friend. 6'2", and currently 286.8 pounds. That's what I am right now. Pretty hefty amount there, isn't it? So basically, I outweigh Tyson Fury. I nearly outweigh the fat Tyson Fury. So I am a bit of a large man. I'm going to be honest with you. Not as large as he's 6'9". I'm 6'2", and I weigh more than the bastard. So that's not good, is it? But I tell you what, this time last summer, I weighed 327 pounds. Right, you can go back last summer. I'm an amorphous blob on the couch there. I still am, but go back last summer, definitely a bit bigger. Definitely a lot bigger, about 30 odd pounds bigger. And about 3 weeks ago, I started to start dieting again, trying to lose some weight. I've got a goal to get down to 250 by, which for a guy my size, not too bad, within about 6 months. At the moment, I'm at 286.8. So yeah, I'm a big fat bastard, lads and lasses, but I'm going to get slimmer, man. It's not going to be the flying pig on this channel soon. It's going to be the flying ferret or something. Do you know what I mean? Harper Hull comments and says, have you heard from the hen recently? Not for a little while, actually. I'm a little bit concerned about the hen, but I am going to try and make contact with him very soon, but not for a week or so. But he's doing fine over there, I'm sure. Just a time difference, working, new job, all that stuff. It's very disappointing he can't get on the freaking show, though, man. Just man up, hen. If you're watching on one of those, crazy gadgets, one of those proxies or whatever, because the Chinese government doesn't let you tune in, then can you please just get yourself on this show, mate? Because there's people like Harper Hull here who are desperate to see your face, mate. And I'd like to just hear from you, mate. Come on. Right, guys, thanks so much for stopping by on the channel. I just want to give a few shout-outs to the people who follow me on Patreon as well. You can check the link out below. If you want to support this channel on Patreon, I'd much appreciate it. Maybe we can grow this channel, improve the quality, that sort of thing. So just go and check it out. And people like Alex Rudd, people like Alex Rincon. Oh, man, I've done it again. I've forgotten the other person. The other person, I'm going to give you a big shout-out. There's a few people following me on Patreon right now. Who are patrons, so thanks so much for doing that. You're a bunch of legends. I'm going to shout you guys out every single week because it does mean a lot to me that you would actually feel like supporting the channel in that way. So you can check the link out below. If you don't want to, don't, but appreciate you guys if you did. Anyway, you can follow me on social media at Mr. Flying Pig HD on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff. And also, I'll be doing this show every single week. I'll try and do another show midweek as well. I know I said I am going to do that, and I definitely will try. Just work commitments and stuff like that. Working quite a few hours, especially up to Christmas. So I'll try and get as many videos in as I possibly can. But again, what I'll do after this show has finished, I will upload this to SoundCloud so you can listen to it. You can listen to the previous podcast that we've done on your whatever podcast app that you use. If you want to go over to iTunes and search Flying Pig United Podcast or Pigcast Podcast, you can leave us a 5-star review. It'd be much appreciated. But yeah, as always, thank you so much for tuning in, honestly, and everybody who's commented there. I'll just give a few shout outs to people who have not been able to maybe answer your questions, whoever's commenting right now. Andrew Wright, Manchester United 96, Roberto Bezic, everybody else who's tuned in, the usual legends. Gungshi, thank you for the super chats. Don't know why you do that, mate, but I really appreciate it. You're insane, man. You must be absolutely minted, mate. But anyway, no, keep them coming, keep them coming. No, thank you very much for tuning in, mate. I'm just joking, but honestly, means a lot and appreciate you guys sticking around, and your insight is always really interesting, all of you guys out there, just to get some feedback on what you people think about what I think, and also just hear the state of Manchester United right now from other fans' point of view. I'll wrap it up there, but as always, thanks so much for stopping by. You're a bunch of legends. Chuck a like on this video. If you're new to this channel, subscribe to the channel. You won't regret it. Click the little bell button. It will notify you when new videos are published. I'll try and do as many as I can. Love you guys as ever. Take it easy. Have yourselves a good one. This is the Pig on Flying Pig United saying thanks so much for tuning in, and take it easy.